Welcome to Dev's POV. Alright folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into the most famous mythological multiverse of all time, Christian mythology. We're talking about gods, angels, demons, miracles, resurrections, and the ultimate cosmic plot twist, all in one go. This isn't Sunday school. This is the Bible as if it were directed by Christopher Nolan. The beginning, God the Creator. In the beginning, there was nothing, just pure, Wi-Fi-less darkness. Then suddenly, God, the Almighty, hits create new world. Day 3, land and plants. Day 4, stars and sun. Day 5, birds and fish. Day 6, animals and finally humans, Adam and Eve. Day 7, God rests. And just like that, weekends are born. The first sin, Adam, Eve and the snake. God's only rule for Adam and Eve is simple. Do not eat from that one tree in the middle of the garden. Then comes Lucifer, disguised as a charming snake. He tempts Eve with the ultimate sales pitch. This fruit unlocks knowledge. God's hiding the good stuff. Eve eats it. Adam eats it. And boom, the first sin is committed. God finds out, and humanity gets kicked out of paradise. Now we have pain, suffering, and awkward fig leaf fashion. But wait, the drama started even earlier. Lucifer was originally God's top angel. But he wanted more. He wanted to be God himself. So he rebels. A third of the angels side with him. Heaven has its first civil war. Lucifer loses and is thrown out, becoming Satan. Now he roams the earth, tempting and corrupting. Earth becomes the battlefield between divine good and evil. The biblical universe, the Old Testament. Now we enter the Old Testament, God's cinematic universe, Phase 1. Some highlights. Cain kills Abel, the first murder over sibling jealousy. God floods the entire world in Noah's story, only one family and a floating zoo survive. People try to build a tower to heaven. God shuts it down and invents different languages. Abraham almost sacrifices his son just to prove loyalty, but God stops him at the last moment. Moses leads the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, parts the Red Sea, and drops the 10 Commandments. David defeats a giant warrior named Goliath with a sling. Underdog story of the year. Prophets constantly warn people to stop sinning, but no one listens. The Old Testament is basically part adventure, part disaster movie, part law book, and part Game of Thrones. Hold up, if you're still watching, congrats. You're officially surviving the Bible speedrun. This is the perfect moment to pause and breathe. If you're enjoying this ride, go ahead and like the video, comment your favorite biblical plot twists so far, and subscribe to the channel for more wild mythology breakdowns and story deep dives. Now, let's meet the star of the second half. Jesus arrives, New Testament time. Enter Jesus Christ, the central hero of Christian mythology. Born to a virgin named Mary, in a stable, under a magical star. It's like a mythological origin story written by a fantasy novelist. Jesus grows up and begins his mission. He teaches love, forgiveness, and helping others. He performs miracle after miracle. Turns water into wine, heals the sick, raises the dead, feeds thousands of people with just a few loaves of bread and fish, walks on water. The crowds love him. The authorities fear him. One of his own disciples, Judas, betrays him for 30 silver coins. Jesus is arrested, mocked, tortured, and crucified on a cross. It looks like the end, but 3 days later, he comes back to life. Yes, a resurrection. The ultimate comeback story. And with that, Christianity is born. After Jesus, the apostles and the church. After Jesus ascends to heaven, his disciples, now called apostles, go full send on his message. Peter, John, Paul, these guys become the spiritual avengers. They travel, preach, write letters, and build the early church. Even when they are hunted, imprisoned, or thrown to lions, they keep going. Eventually, Emperor Constantine legalizes Christianity in Rome, and what started as a small movement becomes a global force. The final arc, Revelation, and the endgame. Now we jump to the last chapter, the Book of Revelation. Written by John, it's full of intense visions and wild imagery. seven-headed dragons. 4 horsemen bringing war, famine, plague, and death. Angels blowing trumpets. A massive final battle called Armageddon. The rise of the Antichrist. And Jesus returning, not as a baby, but as a warrior king. Satan is defeated. Evil is destroyed. A new heaven and a new earth are created. It's the final showdown. The Bible's epic conclusion. The moral of the myth. So what is Christian mythology really about? It's a story of creation, betrayal, judgment, mercy, and redemption. It's about flawed people, second chances, divine love, and eternal hope. From Genesis to Revelation, it's the myth of how God never gives up on humanity, even when we mess things up over and over again. And whether you see it as history, metaphor, or mythology, there's no denying this story has shaped culture, art, and imagination for over 2,000 years. If you liked this divine deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment what mythology I should cover next. Should we head to Asgard with Norse myths? Or dive into ancient India for the Mahabharata? You decide. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay epic, and I'll see you in the next one.